Hello, bitches.
Hi.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the season 3, episode 2 of the Yes God Roundtable. Honey, yes, God. Thank you all for joining us. We do appreciate it. What's going on, guys?
Lucky.
Nothing much. I'm ready for a great show. I'm excited. I'm feeling better, if y'all can't tell.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully,
You need to flex for the kids. You need to show off that.
Girl, yes, I've been going to the gym. Look at the definition.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes. I thought it was all in vain, y'all, but I'm starting to see some results, girl. Go ahead. It does.
In the words of Mariah Carey, it takes time.
Love takes time to heal. We know.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully, we'll be being joined by our other co-hosts, Carl and Tramel. Hopefully, you guys are okay.
I think Carl is having some technical difficulties because he popped up and then popped out.
Yeah. He was looking good. He was looking real good.
He was looking good too.
He was looking good, Charm. So hopefully they'll be able to join us. If not, blessings to y'all and catch us the next time, please. Shit.
But you know what? They kind of inspired one of the things on the docket tonight.
That's why I'm like, what's the tea? What's the tea? Because honey, I was living for the the conversation that we were having about it.
Yeah.
What's up, Jenna Capricorn? How you doing?
Hi, chat. Can you guys share and give us an organic thumbs up, please? Get us up in the algorithm real good.
Yes, guys.
How was y'all's weekend? What did y'all do this weekend?
I just worked.
Oh.
Yeah, I slept. I was so exhausted. I got up today though because I went to my tattoo artist because he's going to be like filling my neck in. We're going to be putting some more flames on the phoenix, and I'm getting a big ass androgynous Jesus mural on this arm, and it's just like a lot of ink going on.
Yes,
a lot of ink and a lot of coin, bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, but a bitch been
the rest of the city and the field, honey.
Look!
Yes, God.
Ass off to build this tattoo fund, so I'm in good now, so I'm ready.
Hallelujah. When do you want to have it done by?
Well, my actual appointment is on the 3rd, which is in like 2 weeks. So I'll be having all this and this done, and then we'll be working from there pretty much. It'll be a million sessions that'll happen. So then I got my best friend coming in from Philly. He's coming in Wednesday, so I'll be entertaining him until like Saturday because he's never been to South Carolina and all of that, but he loves the countryside. So I'm gonna take him dune buggy ride, and then we're gonna do real country stuff while he here.
Yes.
Gabbana dripping, hello. As we slay, hey baby. Jace, hello.
Hey, as we slay, hey Jace.
How's everybody?
My girls are in the building, honey.
I feel like I haven't seen Jason forever.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I talked to him, but I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. I don't even see his posts on Instagram. I don't even know if he still posts. I usually see his food.
Oh, yes, God. Ambitious Cuisine, y'all gotta go to it, girl. I live vicariously through those posts. Girl.
We only dream of being able to prepare the dishes that magnificent, honey.
We're gonna have to get Jace to start sponsoring some of these episodes.
Girl, she expensive, girl.
When I say, honey, mama is expensive.
But you know what, though? It's quality. It's quality. You're going to pay for the good quality.
It's worth it. It's definitely worth it because if you hire Jace and Ambitious Cuisines, you will get a full experience. I've seen some of his work, and I've seen his setups.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to get him to throw some on some black ice for me and shoot on through the way. Hi, Carl.
Hey.
Difficulties over here, but I'm here now, so what's up?
Look.
Yes.
The Johnny Cochran for you, honey.
Okay, hello. Hold on, my shit just loud over here.
So what do we have to talk about tonight? What's on y'all's minds?
There's a lot.
YB.
There's a lot. Well, I really need Tremel here too because that was the start of the conversation.
Is Tremel coming, Carl?
He's supposed to be. I just called him. He answered the phone, so I figured he was on here.
Kid Fury probably got his ass hiked up against the wall in a goddamn crib.
And you know what? That's what I would like to call an excused absence, honey. Hello, God.
Honey.
Yes, honey.
He could have waited afterwards to get him some dick.
Child, sometimes you never know.
I just got honey.
You never know. Let me tell. Actually, no, I'm gonna put my tea out there. There's been many of Yes God roundtables put just because the girl had to get her fill, honey.
You know what? That ain't good for your resume, honey. Stop while you're ahead, YB.
The girls understand, honey.
Well, maybe we can do that topic toward the end, and that'll give Tremel time to put on a new diaper and everything and to get in the building.
Not a diaper.
Just say, honey. We rooting for you, Trey. We rooting for you, child.
Girl, child, not a diaper, honey. Stop it, I say. Girl. Okay, honey. Okay, back in scene. Okay. All right.
Let's get started.
One of you is off.
We just sitting here looking at each other.
I went against doctor's orders and poured me a nice cup of liquor, girl. So
why?
I was just feeling it today, honey. I've been working all week like a fucking slave, so I was like, girl, I want to have a drink, bitch. Hello.
You deserve it. I'm sipping on some wine right now.
I got some fruit punch, child. Jace, don't put my tea out there. I sure am.
Yes, we are.
I sure am.
No, we're not high, Jace. I'm not high. I'm very sober. I don't drink or smoke. I be high on the Holy Ghost, maybe.
Crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Praise. You better send the praise, honey. Yes, girl. Send the praise. Okay, let's get Conscious, take it away, honey.
Okay, hi guys. Welcome to another riveting episode of season 3. Yes, God, Round Motherfucking Table, featuring yours truly. Okay, this is episode 2, and we got some things to get into. Some things that are probably very close to home because they're LGBT centered. So we want.
What the fuck?
I don't know where our host went because I was about to cue his ass to roll that beautiful bean thumbnail that we just politely snatched off of fucking Aniva's platform. We love you, girl. Thank you for doing the lead work. We just gonna borrow your shit for 3 seconds, girl. Okay. All we want to do is continue on the conversation, boo. Don't be coming over here striking shit up or nothing, Miss Funky. Right. Okay, you was the only one who had the goods, so we had to do what we had to do. But YB, could you please put up Exhibit A for first thing on the docket?
We're all still here, right?
Yes, we're still here.
Where did the chat go?
Uh-oh. I'm looking at us live as well, and we're still on.
Okay. Exhibit A.
Okay. Yes. So this is Okay.
Oh, hell no. No, ma'am.
Carl.
That's Alpha Phi Alpha, not AKA, bitch.
Carl.
No, ma'am. No.
Carl.
That's a hard ass no.
Carl. We're going to get into it, okay? So for those of you who don't know,
ma'am.
This image recently went viral and it created a shitstorm of dialogue, okay? People had mixed views. This is Alpha Psi Alpha, okay? This young man, or I don't know whether I don't know what his pronouns are. I'm just gonna say him. This young man is obviously at his petty and his 6-inch heels ready on graduation day, graduated with honors in his in his Greek alphabet, and you guys know that there is a protocol with these fraternities and sororities. They take their rules and their standards very seriously, apparently. So there's a lot of pushback from Alpha Sci-Fi about the dress code and the addition of the heels. But there's also obviously a lot of progressives who was just like, yo, it's time for us to get out of this primitive thinking and to open up the space. So we're going to talk about how you guys feel about what he did. Do you consider it to be disrespectful, as some feel this is very blatantly, explicitly disrespectful, or, you know, just what are your thoughts?
And it don't look disrespectful. I just think it's just it's giving me why, like for what I understand, like all the. In this day and age, we have all the gender equality, and you be free, all that good stuff. But I feel like the saying goes, "It's a time and place for everything." I don't think this is the time or place to, you know, throw your kid on. That's just my opinion. I just don't feel like that was the time. I don't get it. But that could be just me.
This
ain't no right or wrong.
Go ahead, Kat. First of all, is someone got something playing in the background?
I don't.
I hear something.
It sounds like an ocean or
like an ocean or something.
Oh, now that might be me. Let me.
Oh, that walk, girl. All of Billy Ocean, like an 18-wheeler. But this whole killer, she naked. Hey, she's soaking wet. She naked. Hey, she's soaking wet. Hey.
Pipe down liquor, pipe down liquor and Hennessy. Can y'all still hear it?
You was muted. I still heard it, so I don't think it was you.
Oh, it's okay.
It may be my AC. Y'all gonna have to deal with it. But anyway, I think there is a time and place for everything, and I think I don't have a problem with him dressing like that, just not with the paraphernalia on. You know, I think there's certain, you know, until we graduate to that, don't upset the apple cart, because if he decides to go to graduate school or to continue his education, the chapters that he wants to join, you know, moving forward are going to have a problem with this. They're not going to be as receptive to him as, you know, they would to other alphas because of the controversy that he's created. So, yeah.
I feel like you go into, because I did see a little bit of Funky Donnie's video, and I feel like when you're talking about one of the oldest type of traditional organizations out there, even in school, when you go to schools that require a uniform, if you have to abide by that uniform in order to, you know, go to school, right? It's right. Going to work. You have certain jobs require you to wear some type of uniform. If not, you have to dress in like business professional, business casual kind of vibes. So I get that we want to, you know, push the barrier, girl. And, you know, again, this has nothing to do with being gay. This has nothing to do with being queer, anything like that. This is about what the rules and regulations have been. So I'm against it just for that reason alone. I don't know if this is the first time anyone has tried to, you know, give that type of pushback. I do agree that sometimes in life that pushback is needed. You know, you got to test the waters. Life is about testing the waters, girl. But I don't think this is the type of waters to test, girl. That particular space has always kind of been that.
I feel like it's gonna hurt him more than it's gonna hurt anybody else, because he don't want to go get the most backlash from it. Good luck, you know. Most people
absolutely,
because it's for the connections. Like, you got another, you know, fellow alpha brother that may be in a higher position. You got 4 or 5 people interviewing for the same position. He usually automatically gets it because of the brotherhood. I get that. So if you going viral doing something against, you know, their rules or bylaws or whatnot, you think they're gonna give you a job? Child, they probably want them disbanded at this point. I'm just saying.
Exactly, and it's starting to seem like he did it to be rebellious. Like, I don't think he did it to just say this is who I am. I think he did it to be like, they gonna they're gonna accept me one way or the other. You know, they're gonna deal with it.
Like the Gorilla Glue girl to be doing dumb shit. I think people should be doing shit for viral shit to go viral at this point. That's just how I feel. I say no. It's a hard no for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like in this situation,
and the shoes weren't even all that cute, girl. Like if you gonna stunt and like do something like this, girl, slay the girls. Slay the girls. You went to fucking Rainbow for these shoes. Like, girl, you didn't even try.
Kitten heels. Like, girl,
you didn't even try.
Not these.
Only statement that said is that your feet hurt. That's the only thing I got out of that.
Exactly. So
those are some strong ass shoes because you ain't no light foot ass nigga.
Some reinforcement, bitch. You gotta be.
I'm just saying, though, girl. You ain't got pillows for feet, girl. Like
that's a huge.
Those had to be custom made, honey.
Got to.
I have quite a thought about this, right? Like, so I don't know what his personal motive was. Obviously, I would love to interview him actually and just like talk to him about the situation because I think it's fascinating. But
let's bring him on.
Yeah, like we need to bring him on. Like we're gonna see if we can do that.
I got questions.
Correct. So I am a big component of when in Rome, do what Rome do. Every house has its order, so respect the house accordingly. If I wanted to protest, I would have privately protested rather than overtly protested in the way that he did, because obviously it was going to be a very polarizing effect, because sexuality and gender is something that's definitely still a hot button issue, especially for a lot of fraternities who ultimately practice a lot of toxic masculinity. And so I don't think this was, I think when it comes to like really toxic spaces, you have to have a self-opening versus like kick the door down, because it's just going to end up being like them going into defense mode. So I would have preferred him to just have conversations and create dialogue amongst the fraternity. I don't know how they meet up and whether they do annual stuff and all fraternities from across the country come, but those would have been more professional ways to really galvanize together and to address things like this. I do think that there should be some protests. And I say that because while I understand that this definitely goes against Greek alphabet, I would beg the question of why. Why? Mm-hmm. Because I don't understand why organizations and very educated people, because we're talking about fraternities, which only people in colleges and universities have access to. People who are going for an education, people who think that their IQ is at least above 1. And I don't know why we're still accepting social constructs. Gender is a social construct. Sex and biology isn't. And so when we say this is what a man is, what we're talking about is an idea. Okay? How I show up, what I'm dressed like doesn't define me as a man. Biologically is what I'm defined as a man.
Real quick though.
Agreed.
I want to say this real quick. Mama is creased, bitch. I talked a lot of shit. I can say that.
The suit is everything. The suit is everything. And here's the thing, like, he really, again, that's why I question the motive and the intention, because it was just a matter of taking the sash off. This could have been a sickening ass photo, and then you could have did another photo from the ankles up with the sash on.
I love this kind of pale pink.
That coral is beautiful. Mama working in them heels, and I think the toes are fucking white. And if you look at the other side of the picture, Mama is serving face as well. Like,
he's perched,
that's not the problem. That's not the problem. But I think that you could have just took the sash off for this one photo. You know, if you was gonna have a photo on with the sash on, then in that photo alone, just don't let it. It's like religion, honestly. If he would have dressed like that, in the same suit with the heels and walking to a church, he would get the same reaction.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
So he said he's a proud member, honey. My husband said He is a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Inc. I think he was trying to pull a stunt. He was seeking attention.
See, I feel it.
Look,
That's what I feel.
I can understand that. I can understand that.
That's what it looked like.
I think the damn boy was proud. This was graduation day. He took all of his intersections and combined them, and he was celebratory. I'm an alpha. I am queer. I graduated from an Ivy League school, whatever the fuck it is. Like, I just think, like, he was turned up. He was very proud of himself. All of his intersections made it to this moment, and he just represented that, like, unanimously by kind of putting all of these elements together.
But you can't act like there isn't a thought put into this. Think about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm with the whole theme of him moving forward, him celebrating his entirety of who he is. But as an alpha man, in order to get as far as you got with the sash and all of that, you had to have known the rules and regulations of how to function. You had to have known that.
But even with that cat, if I had to do what them niggas have to do to even make it through hazing, eat shit, fuck dead bodies, jack off everybody in a goddamn situation, I'm celebrating. I'm gonna push through in my heel. I earned my to these heels with these Greek motherfucking letters. Okay? I had to one dick in order to even get here, so y'all can't let me get away with pushing across the graduation stage in my little piece of heel.
I'm not about to let you slide past. No. I'm not about to let you slide past what you said they have to do. I'm not gonna let you slide past that. And you had to have been privy to something, because one of them choices, I've heard myself. Please take it away, Tramel. Please.
What are we talking about?
Roll the footage. Roll the bean footage,
honey.
We are talking about this situation right here.
Who is that?
Don't matter.
A big nigga.
Why he got on the shoes?
Real viral because of
Dot Honey.
Oh, the heels. I see him.
Yeah.
That's Dot Honey told her Roma sleeve up. Hey, even though I'm her niece, she caught me a piece. Yes, honey. Whack ass caliper. They completed with the side. I said, yeah. Okay.
Sorry. I mean, I got me a nice pair of heels that I wore for my music video, but I mean, I don't wear them bitches to work. I mean, it's just like I'm saying, it's just the time and place for that. Like, I wear my heels if I'm doing something that requires heels. That just did not require.
Like bunny pussy.
Like bunny pussy.
Girl.
Yeah.
I have heels on for that.
That behind the scenes footage, bitch.
Period.
Oh my god.
But I'm not.
Oh my god.
Same bunny pussy heels on in the work. Like, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But what if you wanted to? Like, what if you wanted to though? Like, what if your female coworkers were able to be in here?
Statement on your own time. Like, what I do outside of I put on my goddamn fresh lace panties and my boots on my own time. I make as many statements as I want to. But I'm not gonna be at work like, yeah, bitch, catch me in my heels, bitch, because I'm at work.
You know what's funny though is the women that I know, they don't even want to even wear heels. They do it as a fashion statement. All my homegirls bring flats with them. So nigga, I know the weight you're trying to support with those thick ass fucking Brian Atwood heels, girl. Well, Brian Atwood is very fabulous, so those look like Nine West girl from Payless. But bitch. Oh, what's up,
boyfriend? Hi.
Okay, now is this work related? Is this allowed to be at work? Are we
Black love, honey.
allowed to fraternize at work?
Black love.
We can't wear heels at work. We just fraternize with our lovers at work.
I'm about to cry. I just love this shit.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, girl, she high. Let her, girl.
Child, yes. Black love is the
talking about here today? They talking about that. It was
roll the footage.
As Alpha, he had heels on.
You have any thoughts?
In his Greek letters.
So I know I'm not on this panel, but can I just say this? My craziest thing about this is the fact that people were sharing this saying that Martin Luther King didn't work for this. Martin Luther King's not even a founder of Alpha. Like, he's not even the founder of Alpha. Like, don't get me wrong. He was a great person. I'm just saying to use him and say something about, you know, Alpha is like, he's not even the founder, so how can you say what he did for the fraternity? But that's all.
Why would they say that?
I agree.
That's my man.
You better go.
Yeah, God, honey.
Like I said, I feel if he's gonna make a statement, he should have made a statement with a statement heel. That Kitten Hill ain't making no statement.
That's what I'm saying. The heel wasn't even that cute. Like, so if you gonna make a statement, bust out with the girls. Like,
bitch, you need to have busted out some Balenciagas, baby. Some
motherfucking honey. It made a statement. It went complete motherfucking viral. It did. It did what it was supposed to do. It gave what it was supposed to give.
But the question I have so what is the ultimate goal here? Everything is done with purpose.
This conversation is do these fraternities and sororities allow for men to show up in ways that are not necessarily that of the status quo? Because we're not going to act like the only men who like to wear kilts or skirts or to paint their fingernails or long hair or lipstick are queer men. This type of aesthetic is very prevalent amongst glam rock, punk rock, the gothic community. Like, men love to put on a black lip and paint their fingernails black. And so what are we ultimately reducing men to? And why should men be pressured by the privilege to show? Like, why can't they show up as either one of these men, Jaden Smith, A$AP Rocky, or Billy Porter?
Well, Jaden Smith and Billy Porter are part of the community, and Young Thug. What is that? Young Thug.
Mr.
She is part of the community too. Bitch.
Now he is being styled. He is styled personally. He was styled personally by one of my boyfriend's friends, Zoe Dupree. So that dress came from the gay community, as well as A$AP Rocky. His stylist is also of queer descent. If that
most stylists are.
So they are all inspired by gay culture.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it all is.
I will say this because I'm a little lit. I've been drinking.
Welcome to the Yes God Roundtable.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that the only people who should be outraged by this whole kilt situation is Scotland people, the Scottish people, because that is cultural appropriation, and it is not a gay issue. I'm sorry. Wearing a kilt is not a gay issue at all to me in my personal life, because that is not of gay culture. It is actually of Scottish culture, because that is something that they wear as warriors. That's the symbol of warriors in a traditional dress.
But knowing the thing that comes behind anything that looks effeminate, anything that looks like a dress, there's also that meaning. You know how Americans are, especially the Black community alone, right, how we view certain types of fashions.
And I would just say that they're uneducated and they need to get it together, because, bitch, clearly that's not about you, and you need to figure out what is about you before you be outraged. I'm sorry. Honestly, that is the truth. It is an honest truth. Only Scottish people should be upset about that. Irish people who have only been wearing kilts for 100 years, like 100 plus years. They've only been. That's
who should be upset about the kitten heels then?
Scottish or people of Irish descent.
Old ladies.
Old ladies.
That's age appropriation, bitch. The kitten heels belong to them.
Who should be upset about the kitten heels then?
Who should be upset by the kitten heels? Bitches from the 1920s.
Ladies, old ladies, I'm telling you, they the only ones that wear the kitten heels. So it's like, bitch,
not the Industrial Revolution, honey.
Like, we're not out there, but we're not down with that, you know?
In the 1920s, baby.
Yeah, they not down with that shit. Now, if he had on a prayer cloth and a dolly, then I can understand. No.
On the other end of things, I do feel like people should definitely be allowed to.
The Flapper Age, which was the Harlem Renaissance, which was Harlem Nights, Great Gatsby, 1920s era. But it was before then, but it became.
My baby's a fashionista. Come tell him. Come.
I don't know my charger pad is. I'm so. Yo, excuse me, I'm a little drunk.
Tell him.
A little.
6-inch heels.
Oh, you said 6 inch? I don't know why I heard 3.
No.
Yeah, 6 inch heels.
Yeah, because that's what he had on, 3 inch heels.
But 3 inch heels was even considered promiscuous in the 1920s. So, 6 inch heels, they would have been looking at you like, bitch, you're a witch.
Yeah, they never used to let women wear hats because they said it was too masculine. Oh. Shout out to Coco Chanel for breaking that barrier, honey. Hello, God. Yes.
And that was why Alton
Who?
Alton. I can't think.
Mason.
Mason, yeah.
Alton Mason.
I just don't understand, like, what the fuck is this commitment to identity? That is our identity so fucking fragile that men and women literally come down to the wear that they wear fucking fabric over their body and on their freaking shoes, and to be living in the 21st century where we have voice activated cars, we have cars that can start their fucking selves, we have technology that's equivalent to that of fucking UFO technology, and here it is, we're still struggling through the fragility of our identities as male and female and boiling it down to, oh my God, whether I have on a piece of hair or a wig, or whether you as a bitch are shaven and bald headed, or like, who gives a fuck? Like, as long as the motherfucker is clothed, like, period. I'm done. Like, it doesn't even get into more. The fact that we've intellectualized fabric on the human body when we all started off wearing fucking sheep's fur and bear skin and shit to stay warm, and like, who the fuck are we who've been on this evolutionary loop to now take clothing so seriously? Your black ass is clothed, and that's all I give a damn about.
Okay. I think, but you have to understand, it's not just like an us thing, it's an entire like social standard thing. We have to blame this whole idea that we have to look and present ourselves a certain way based on society's standards.
I do what the fuck I want.
We have to kind of like bend that. So that's another reason why I'm here for it too, because in order to push, you have to push back sometimes. I'm like,
yeah,
you gotta be the Madonna. Somebody got to be the Madonna. Like, they gave her hell. Somebody got to be the Janet Jackson. They gave her hell. But she decided to be the Madonna to Alpha Psi Alpha, honey. He gave the girls hell.
But I do agree on the other end of things too. Like, there's a time and a place for everything. Like, I don't just queen out anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was his graduation day. If there was any day,
girl, you do that at the graduation party, not to be in the ceremony.
Hey, your personal graduation party.
It would have created hell anyway, because what the Greeks are saying is that we have no room for men who don't show up any other way than in the classic ass masculine aesthetic that we set in place. And I think that's unfortunate, because many straight men don't even show up that way, but are forced to comply with systems that are just narrow and bigoted. Like, why is it okay for the gays to challenge the church? We have no problem with that pushback. We have no problem with women pushing back against inequality. But but we can't push back against the fraternity. I do agree this wasn't the best way to go about it, but I do stand behind the message of inclusion. And
so maybe I'm in the gray area, because while I wholeheartedly agree with the people on this panel that are saying time and place, I agree that we need some progression in the way we think. Like, it shouldn't be a problem, but it is. So because it is, there should be a way he went around about doing it. But
let me ask this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but let me just say this real quick. So you knew what could happen from this. You invited yourself to be in a space where who you really are inside is not welcomed, period. So why join the fraternity? Why do we? That's another conversation we have to have too. Like, why do we force ourselves to be in spaces that don't accept our true, authentic selves
or celebrate? They accept us, but they don't celebrate us. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I don't even know about the other chapters. I know for a fact that this baby is in the same chapter with people who are undercover, people who can be themselves when they are not in the paraphernalia, and people who can be themselves when they are not in the line of duty or whatever it's called. But and if they have to police themselves, and you know that policing is a thing you have to do in reference to being an alpha man, you had to have known that this wasn't going to go over well.
Do you think he possibly did it for like attention or clickbait?
I think it was both. I think, like Conscious said, I think he absolutely was like, bitch, I'm going to live in my truth. I graduated, bitch. This is an accomplishment. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. I'm proud of all of who I am. And I also feel like what, and as we said in the chat, somebody was like, "Girl, I bet you won't do it," and he was like, "Watch me, bitch." Like, I think it was a little bit of like, so there, you know, like in your face type of shit.
Carl is getting in. Carl, what you got to say, bitch? He's just sitting up here.
He already done said hell no. Like, when in Rome, do what the fuck Romans do, okay? And let it be.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it doesn't even matter what his particular motive is, because now the conversation has went far beyond him and about what
although that was a little bit too much, we do need to have the conversation. So welcome that conversation
beyond him as an individual.
Welcome that conversation to your organization, and let's talk about inclusion all the way around.
But even with the comment from A. Woody that YB just put up, when you are a member of the Alpha.
Hold on, honey. That's my
Alpha fraternity. More than just yourself, huh?
I said, that's my husband. You got to get his name right, girl. That's a Woody Lee, honey.
Woody Lee production, okay? That's the issue. Is you talking about you represent something more than just yourself? Well, the fraternity should realize that it represents more than just the traditional classic dude. Like, you want to, like, it's the members have to represent something beyond themselves, but the fraternity doesn't have to recognize men beyond the status quo. Like, the hypocrisy of that democracy is just.
Maybe I'm off, but I thought that all of these fraternities and sororities were supposed to represent brother and sisterhood, period.
Which is doing what he did might get that conversation. Like, honestly, it might get the conversation going where they might be more open to.
Hopefully they will, because hopefully this can progress to. Hopefully this can progress to eventually trans women and men being able to pledge.
But see, my issue with this is like, girl, we're already fighting a bunch of fights on too many fronts where there's not enough of us at fucking helm, girl. So we got to start picking and choosing the most important battles. That right now to me is not an important battle.
Not important.
Or we could just start creating our own. Let's stop fighting
we already got
that don't want us.
They have don't they have like a LGBTQ fraternity already?
I didn't know that. But
the girls don't want to be amongst the queens. They want to be amongst the trade. They want to be amongst trade. Because half of those girls in college, I've seen plenty of videos, girl. Half of those girls that graduate these fraternities, girl, they were acting straight the whole time it was in there. But as soon as they graduate, I'm coming out, bitch. Please, honey. We know
i.e. the source where we got this video from.
There's a self-hating mentality that goes into that as well. I don't want to be where all the queens are. I want to be where all the trade is, because I
want to be where the people are.
Do a lot of
I want to see
process.
Baby, they aerial to the bullshit. They want to be where the people are. Thingamabobs, they got 20.
I mean, it was some shoes, and if it was just some shoes, you could have wore some goddamn Kohans, girl.
Ew, God, no. No, not Kohans. But,
it would have been from Payless.
But it's gay, though.
I would have taken some Stacey Adams over some Kohans.
They jack off
because they like orthopedic shoes. But, if you're going to step out. You created all this controversy for some shoes from DD's Discount. Like, why?
DD's Discount.
Mm-hmm. Well, our hearts, mind, child, are we clear on this issue? I forgot.
We're not, so we can go on to the next topic, unless Tremel has something.
Go right on ahead.
So I heard that Kappas like to nut on a cookie and make you eat it. Would y'all eat it?
Well,
no.
I'm not ingesting strangers' bodily fluids.
And they make the during the heaving process of,
Hold on, let me say this, because let's back this up real quick. Hold on.
I'm not gonna say no.
Let's back this up real quick. So my thing is this, and most of the men that are a part of, what is that fraternity you just said, Tremel?
Kappa Alpha.
The Kappa Alphas, they're mostly cute men, right? So if you're gonna nut on a cookie and make me eat it, you might as well let me suck the dick.
Period. That's the fun of doing it. The cream filling.
Because 9 times out of 10, you probably jacked off in front of me and nutted on the cookie, because if nut sits like more than 5 seconds, it starts to absorb into whatever it's on. So you probably want me to see this cookie. So you jacked off in front of me, you nutted on the cookie in front of me, and now fuck the cookie. You might as well just go for round 2. Let me eat that dick.
Like, who gonna take the
Plain and simple.
The outside of the
I'm just saying, like, I mean,
like, that makes no sense.
Let me be a team player. I mean, if I'm
the mouth is willing
and able.
And able.
Period.
Tramel.
I'm not about to sit around and eat no fucking gonorrhea-filled Oreo cookie. Okay?
We didn't say it was Oreo.
Not for bottoms.
Can it be like a vanilla wafer or something? Not an Oreo.
Or a scoop of ice cream. Chocolate mint, to be exact.
And all them niggas.
Not mint. Just vanilla. Can it blend?
Ooh, chocolate mint over some Oreo cookies. Minus the nut. I don't want
I'll stick to the fucking lettuce we already got. The LGBTQ.
Please. No nut.
I know that's disgusting. You know, I've heard of some hazing things, but I've never heard of you having to eat a nut-filled cookie.
It's a no for me.
I mean, for all we know, that's what they are stuffed with.
I already have my letters. LGBTQIA+.
Shit.
I'm gonna arrange them to create the alpha and the size and all the rest of the goddamn letters if you want to, because we already got the whole fucking alphabet in the goddamn way. So them enough damn letters for me.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry.
Before we get off the subject, I just want to say the motherfucking heat for queer men is so fucking real, because I bet you in the sorority, I bet you that these hoes can be bald headed. They don't have to have ponytails. They can be fucking natural. They can fucking put parts in their hair. They can do all type of masculine, androgynous ass shit.
Yeah, and no trans woman come walking in there.
Sororities, sororities allow.
They ain't having that.
I bet they gonna let a trans woman in there though.
They ain't having that.
AKA more versatility. But you can be pretty as a woman. You can still have a beat ass face and be bald head like Eve. Like you can pull it. Like they allow for all that. But men, just what you can be is that small.
What I was told that is like they only like AKAs to be like light skinned and pretty.
Okay, see, I can't. The colorism, like just put the whole shit away.
I know a lot of they do. I know a lot of dark skin.
I know a lot of some of my homegirls are dark skinned, AKA.
Me too. And they
very beautiful.
Wait a minute, wait. There's a misconception that they're not all inclusive, and somebody said that all these fraternities have transgender members. I didn't know that.
That is true.
No, I know that.
Well, again, that's walking into a space that I'm not even familiar in, because my understanding of fraternities and that type of life, they're not all of that accepting of the queer girls, honey.
Okay, but transgenders is a separate category of people from non-binary and androgynous intersex individuals. So the reason why these fraternities allow transgenders is because you're literally making a choice in your gender. These fraternities have a problem with people who play off of masculinity and femininity, which is not exclusive to any particular fucking sex. And so that's where the conversation is. I'm sure that these fraternities do have fucking...
But if that's the case, then I go back to why be star. Why go places you're not welcome? Like,
because that's one of the other issues with living.
Why? Why do you even want to be in that space if you know that they don't accept you for who you really are?
Because those are the only spaces that be available. Like if I'm already in school, I'm not about to wait for a gay fraternity to manifest before I have my fraternity experience. That may not even come in my.
But if that's the case, then honestly speaking,
and I also stand behind queer people who don't always want to have to be in queer spaces or in the nigger section in order to just fucking move about the world. Like I, as a black person, don't always want.
I'm with that, but if the space is blatantly not welcoming, then I don't want to be there.
If everybody had that mindset, then black people wouldn't be where they are today. Like black people as a whole. If everybody was just like, I'm only welcome in the spaces that I'm welcome in, like they had colored sections. So if nobody fought to be in those sections that were whites only, then none of us would have these conversations today. We would all still be. So you have to be the catalyst to break those cycles. You have to. Somebody has to do it.
I get that part, but I would hope that what I'm about to say puts the nail in this coffin. What would be the point? Think about this. It's fraternities specifically. Let's take away the whole racial divide conversation.
Don't you want your son to be one of them? You don't want your son to be in there?
I know.
This is my argument on this. Again, the nail in the coffin that it should be. The point of a fraternity is to feel some type of connection, some type of brotherhood, some type of sisterhood. Why in the entire fuck would you bring your ass into a place where you know you're not going to get that? You're not going to get anything you think you're looking for because those spaces don't accept you for who you truly are deep down inside. So if you can't accept yourself and you can't live in those fucking spaces, why would you? The whole point is the brotherhood feeling, the family connection, the sisterhood connection, the best friend bonding.
There's a way to do it.
Knowing that you're not going to get any of that from these people.
But I get what Jamel is saying. You have to fight for your right. I get what Jamel is saying. But there's a way to do it. If these are your brothers, hey, I'm queer and I just want to express myself. I want to be fully who I am. As my brother, I should be able to come to you and tell you that I want to do this. So you should know that it's coming. I shouldn't blindside you if I'm your brother. He felt the need to do this behind their backs and kind of, throw it in their faces without them knowing. So if it's a brotherhood on both ends, then where's the communication and the brotherhood?
But how do I want to say that fraternities work as if they can't, like, unless you do something very egregious or something like that, you can't really like
excommunicate them. Ain't that different from what black people were doing too?
They have to accept it and they have to stand behind him in what he was doing, right?
True. Not necessarily. You don't have to stand by it. Just
you have to. You do have to actually, honestly, be a front to it. Like you might not necessarily agree, but you still have to stand by your brother.
Right. Give me. If you're my brother, give me that option. Give me that opportunity.
The thing with the fraternities and sororities that, like, when you're a part of these organizations, you're representing more than just you. You're representing the whole brand. And I understand the racial thing, like the colored only, the white only, but you got to realize when you're talking about racial things, they were keeping black people or anybody of color from doing things that, like, just basic human things like buying homes. Then those are things we take a stand on. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for brotherhood, sisterhood, bitch, go make your own.
And fraternities and sororities, that's all subjective and selective.
I want to be in the KKK. Like, they don't want no black person in the KKK. Why are you here for? Like, what are you even doing?
I get that because they don't want black people to live at all.
Go somewhere else to get a fraternity experience. AKA and Alpha Kappa, the Kappa Alpha and Omega is not the only goddamn fucking fraternities out there. It's a slew of them. You do not have to join that one.
But that's selective, and it's like with the blacks, they were fighting to live and fighting for equality. But with this, it's like you can go through your whole college experience and not be in a frat. I wasn't in a frat.
I did. You do
it because you want to do it. That's selective. It's not something you have to go through to graduate. Now, if that was the case, then bitch, you gonna make this an easy experience for me too.
Then you make a statement.
But that's selective. You chose to join the sorority or fraternity. Oh, man.
All right, we gotta move on, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Time is winding down. So,
yeah.
We ain't
especially clear. The fact that we started like hallelujah.
We ain't clear.
We can agree to this.
But we have concluded.
I guess.
All right.
Don't see nothing. Where y'all alcohol at?
Oh. Ain't you had enough?
Your mama. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
He said your mama. I'm sorry. My man is a guest host on the side.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, I love y'all conversation though.
Thank you.
It's all good in the hood. It's all about the community, unity in the community. Hello. So, okay, the next topic.
That is his favorite thing to say, baby.
But hey, the Yes God Roundtable is for you then.
By the way, Fast Show July 2nd.
Period. All right, y'all. What's next on the
July 2nd.
What we talking about next?
Crow versus Zoe Dupree. Boop, get your tickets.
Okay.
In Atlanta, Georgia. If you're coming down, come on down.
Come on down, honey. The price is right.
Is he the one from New York?
Okay.
YB, where is you from again? Florida.
Florida. In the words of Trina.
Carolinas, I can't forget. I forget which one.
All right. Next topic. Where do you want to go to, Conscious? The web series conversation, or do we want to talk about the Angela Stanton?
I don't even know. You can roll the dice on which comes before which.
Let's do the web series conversation first. So the question is, do web series provide a positive or negative impact to the community?
Particularly the gay web series that are out today. Are we happy? Are we proud? Or what is our stilo?
We doing the same thing the rest of them doing.
No.
Yes.
But are we happy, bitch?
I'm fine.
Right. Like, that's the question. Are we happy? Are we satisfied? Is this what we envisioned when we thought of representation? Like, what are our feelings about what we have?
Like, when it comes to web series, especially, I don't know if y'all think about like scripted web series, y'all talking more reality web series.
Reality.
Yeah, reality.
Reality is, one thing about reality web series is something that you have to be built for. It's just like I say, it's equivalent to Housewives, Love and Hip Hop. It's the same. It's all the same. So it's just like we don't do nothing no different for what everybody else. Everybody like, well, maybe it shows the community in a negative light, and no, not really, because without the drama aspect of it, the same drama that you see on Housewives, the same drama you see on Love and Hip Hop, hell, the same drama you see on a reality cooking show, we do the same shit. So it's just like if we didn't have that drama, nobody would watch it, and we know that because there's positive shows out there right now that no one's watching. So with that being said, it's like a reality show to me is lemon. You take it and make lemonade. It's gonna be drama. It's gonna be fighting. It's gonna be a lot of catty ass bullshit. But you just take it and make it. It helped me sell some albums. So I mean, hey, you just take it and do what you need to do with it. I did what I needed to do, and I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm doing it now.
For me personally, how I feel is that there are shows that are very negative, and there are shows that are very positive. And
do you want to slap a name? Do you want to put an address on which shows or what in your view?
Yeah, sure. I don't give a fuck. G Status can be very negative. Chasing Atlanta can have its negative moments. I think The Come Up can have its negative moments as well. But at the end of the day, like it's real life things that can really happen. And I do appreciate that they can show those things in real time. What I don't appreciate is the forcefulness of how this can be. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some things that are natural that can happen, but then there are some things that are not natural that happen in these web shows that are forced by production. If that makes sense. And it brings out the worst in people because of a certain type of thing that they're going to get from being on these shows. They feel like, oh, I'm gonna be a star of this show if I act this certain type of way. So it's not natural. It's not real. It's not the way it should be. I feel like that is what is bad and what gives these shows a negative name. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying all of these shows do it. I just know one particular show that has done it. Huh?
I feel like that's like sometimes you have a bad when you have a producer, their main goal is to put on the show. Now wherever their vision is for a good show, that's completely up to them. You don't know what they is, and like I'm saying, anybody as talent, you ain't gotta do that damn shit. And be like, I'm not doing it. It's like, but
you don't have to do it. But if somebody is willing to do it and they're willing to do it to you. Like, let's say a cast member is willing to come at you just to be popular on the show. What are you going to do? And then it's going to bring out a natural accent of you. So that catalyst is, if that wasn't there, what would the show really be like? So it's not a true representation of what the community really is, in all honesty.
Like I said, one thing about it is entertainment is television. So you got two options. When you're doing reality TV, you are going to have people who's going to try you, and they're going to try you solely just because production may put in there to do it, or they're just trying to be the star of the show, to be that drama-filled person to get the views and be like the fan favorite or the fan villain. That's what they want to do. So if you're the person they're antagonizing and they're coming at, you got two options. Either you can jump into it, if you can't beat them, join them mentality. Or you can beat their ass from one end of that camera to the next, bitch, and I guarantee you.
Are you speaking from experience?
I am. So that's not what you're gonna deal with. At the end of the day, shit.
What they make you do, girl?
They made me do a lot of shit.
But this is my thing. I feel like you can still give quality entertainment, but mostly my problem with web series, the gay web series, the reality version is we're seeing too much cutting to murder instead of cutting to maim.
Right.
Like when do we say, girl, this is just too much? Right. Like when we start getting into transphobic conversations, racial conversations.
This is the problem that I have with this, because out of everybody on here, from me to all the way around this table, we all do interviews, we all got shows, we all got protective. Only people that we have all interviewed are people that's in the middle of them gym drama. I can name 2 shows right now that was very positive, and y'all ain't interviewed none of them.
Oh,
that's not true for me. That's not true for me.
Who did you interview that was positive, girl?
Who?
Ike was off of G status. That is a negative show.
Okay, no, I ain't saying about the show. I talk about who was interviewed. Ike was like one of the chillest, most relaxed fallback characters out of the entire cast.
What I'm saying.
And the one time that he had to get a bitch together, he got a bitch together, and they'll bitch trying him again after that.
Does these positive shows, I think when we say there's a point that we're doing too much, y'all are not interviewing these people, and that's why nobody's watching.
I don't even know where those.
The same place.
Well, let me speak for me though. I'm not necessarily a web series commentator, interviewer as bitch, so that's not even my lane per se. But it's interesting that the mainstream web series that are doing the numbers are filled with a bunch of bullshit, and I totally agree with YB that I think that the violent slander, he swallowed my nut, I beat his ass, I fucked his man storyline bullshit is just tacky, it's low class, and I feel like there's producers are not actually taking the opportunity to get creative about the way they can tell people's stories. Right. And so they cheapen that by just relying on the fodder and relying on cast dynamics, which, as y'all also, I think Tremel, you was hitting to it, that aren't even natural, because half of those situations you end up in together wouldn't actually occur in real life, because you would never actually surround yourself with bitches who are the way they are in real life. But because you're paid, you're in contract, you have to be in these unnatural scenarios, of course, the foolery and fuckery happens. And I don't know why we don't think we can be creative. Like, you can have a wholesome show. Like, for instance, I think about the T.S. Madison Experience. Ain't there bitch throwing a chair, and yet that show is engaging, it's funny as hell, it's entertaining. There are so many gems and wisdoms dropped from Miss Mary to T.S. Madison. She's traveling through her life experience. You have queer people who are having a diverse experience. They've been through everything from contracting HIV to identifying as trans to being ejected out of their homes to navigating this world in various ways. And you're telling me that you don't know how to take that and make it interesting, add a little flair of entertainment, and give us some actual substance and something that we can relate to? That shit is nuts, and nobody can tell me that it can't happen.
There are shows out there that has that, but nobody.
No, I will agree with Conrad. Like, as far as just allowing things to naturally happen, like, everybody has a story. Everybody on this panel, everybody who's watching, they all have stories of, whatever their experience is as far as life. And that is never really captured naturally. That is something that is not, fostered in reality shows. They really like to see just people fight. So they like to fabricate a lot of drama just to make things happen. So we all know.
Well, you got to find somebody who's willing to go ahead and give all that stuff. And then
don't you have a story, bitch? You have a story too, bitch.
But the thing about it is, though, I question the originality of these shows and their premises. Because when you think about it, all the gay web series, they're formatted, their premises are based off of the application of the Real Housewives, Love and Hip Hop's world. There's no original thought. So it's almost as if did you even try to make a show that was completely different instead of trying to model it after these other shows? And I get we have to do things to garner viewership. So if we look at Chasing LA and say, girl, this is just like the Love and Hip Hops of the world. So of course we're going to watch the kind of relate. There's no difference there. If I wanted that, I could just watch the fuckery between Jocelyn and my club.
You sound like an android.
Oh, I thought I had to check my service. I'm like, is that me?
Oh, YB, I think you glitching up, baby.
Yeah, I'm like,
is
what?
it me?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you can't clear that time.
I think you're okay now.
You sound like a Britney Spears album.
How is it now?
Yeah, you good.
I'm
You
good.
good.
Child. No, but did y'all get a chance to hear me or no?
No.
No,
Not
go ahead and
really.
repeat that for us.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
This is why you
part is
drink before you come to work, bitch.
What where did I leave off at?
We don't know because you was
It was
glitching
like
out.
beep, boop, 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 boop,
Oh, for real?
boop, 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 boop.
Well, girl, we can move on because I don't forgot all that shit.
Well, all I'm saying is, in this day and age of where we are right now, we praise ignorance and we praise trash. Like I said, I just mentioned earlier about the Gorilla Glue girl. That girl got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Followers got verified. She out here, she famous, and she did something the dumbest thing in the world. That's what we like to see. Like in the Shade Room and shit is so popular. We like to see mess. And like I said earlier, I just made that prime example. I just said we have positive shows out there that we just named, that y'all the things that y'all named, and nobody did.
I'm not gonna move just in the room or something.
Y'all want to see G Status and y'all want to see Chase in Atlanta where all the drama, where the people at, where all they throwing tables and throwing crab legs. At each other. That's what everybody want to see.
I don't.
So,
Because
Okay, I just remembered what I wanted to say. I'm sorry. Y'all got me. So whatever. So no, I'm saying is like most of these shows are again recreations and inspired by these Real Housewives of Atlanta's Love and Hip Hops. So I beg the question: where's the originality? Why can we at least try to make shows that came from our actual stories, like Tramel was speaking about, the real authentic nature of who we are in our community?
you have
We
to
never
willing to share that.
But see,
They find people who are. So the problem is that they're willing to find people who are willing to be nasty and disgusting just to be famous versus people who are really willing to share their stories. Mm-hmm. They need to really be looking for people who are willing to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the problem with production and casting.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be casting bitches that's willing to do anything to just be on TV. They should be willing to, showcase people who are willing to tell stories that are actually interesting. So that comes behind the
intention. That comes behind the intention of the creators, though. Right. So that's where I hold their feet to the fire and say, okay, bitch, what are you willing to do for a Klondike bar at the end of the fucking day? You're really pushing. You have the power to tell the stories that you want to tell. We've heard so many times with a lot of these web series that work scenes are shot, real moments are captured, but through the editing process, it's dumped because it's not going to bring the hype they're looking for.
But you gotta realize when you're doing those shows, like this is why y'all work scenes don't make it nowhere. Y'all work scenes have to make sense for the storyline. You can be sitting right up under Beyonce doing her hair, but if it don't make sense for the storyline, they not using it.
We see a lot of things that don't make sense in the storylines.
Maybe they should cut the storyline.
With them, if there's drama in there, they put it on there. You guys, some of these shows are just slavery. Like I go from my way of life experience. What I go through is that I have things, but when I have to do something for work, I make sure it makes sense with the storyline, so I know my shit gonna make it in there. I ain't shot not one work thing that ain't made it nowhere because I'm strategic on how I film. Now the rest of these girls just going to put 8 famous bitches they didn't work with and have them telling everybody to record and put it in there.
But see, that's where you have the creator. if you have the creator, right, that's the direction. Those are what the meetings are for. Hey, I will not. Are you letting the cast know? I will not show work scenes if they don't relate to these.
They're not gonna tell them because these people are doing. Most of these people are doing these web series for free. So if you tell them you're not gonna put their shit in, you think they're gonna keep filming? No, they're gonna leave, and now you got to start all over, and now you fuck with nothing. So they find out when y'all find out. We all sitting there watching it. That we didn't use our shit didn't get used. You won't know.
That was my biggest protest when it came to Ja and G status, is because when I got to know a lot of the cast members and interviewed a lot of the cast members, I understood that a lot of people shot a lot of wholesome shit that production did not edit into these episodes. People were working. People were letting Ja know, hey, this is what the fuck I have going on, A, B, C, D, F, and G.
Mm-hmm.
There was no interest in showcasing those things, etc. But just even using G status, like, let's say I took G status and wanted to make it wholesome. There was a lot of beautiful things that I think could have really inspired the community. Like when I interviewed Ike, I found out that back in his home, he's pretty much really accepted. That's something that a lot of queer people can't even fucking relate to, especially those who are Black and come from Black Southern families. I felt like, why not take that and show that? Like, get Ike in these conversations with his people, show the love of his family around him, allow queer people to see that this isn't the only fucking thing, it's tragedy to our lives, and that Black people do love queer people. I even looking at what's old girl name? Are we going on a date? Are we calling it a date? Or Tremel, what's her name? Yeah, Redrick. Take Redrick's thirsty ass. Like if Redrick was seriously hungry, if she was seriously hungry and thirsty for a nigga like that, that could have been a whole storyline. Show how difficult it is for androgynous or non-binary folk to actually date and obtain serious relationships. Like, but there was room for
I think honestly, I think Ike was actually willing to do that. That was supposed to be the storyline, but then it turned into something because the date never actually happened. So it turned into Ike don't want to go out with me, so I'm gonna have to attack him. So they have to work in what they can when they don't got the footage to support. Because I think Ike was gonna go on I don't want to call it a date because that's not what it was going to be. Just a meetup, just to talk about what androgyny means to people and how it's hard to date when you're androgynous. And they were supposed to have that conversation. It was supposed to be a real hearty conversation, but it never happened. So then it was like, well, Redrick, you boring, so you have to spice it up, bitch.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to make it look like
she's actually not fucking boring. The bitch is lonely, and that can be exciting to watch her navigating her motherfucking life. Like, I just like there's shit that's there.
But to that point though, Tremel, I want to say this real quick. Y'all rather had you said she was boring, but you would rather capture her in a whole moment where she looked like a fool discussing racism with, homegirl.
Well, I didn't say she was bored. I said production said she was bored.
G-Status had a phenomenal
I liked his story, but honestly,
she wasn't boring enough to get trampled over.
To the show, being privy to the show, I know that his story was very minuscule to what they really wanted to show. They wanted to show some kind of conflict. Ja wanted to show conflict with everyone on the cast in some way, shape, or form, with some cast members. So Redrick had to play that up, and so that was presented as a storyline. So Redrick decided to do that.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Redrick wouldn't have had to manufacture that if the reality of Redrick's personal life at that time was, I am having difficulty in my personal life. There is difficulty between being like fetishized in the community and actually obtaining a genuine relationship to somebody who really wants some onus of my identity. And that could, and then everything would have moved naturally from there if you just wouldn't have took the actress route with it and just would have actually engaged it as a real life.
But you got to realize with the G-Status this cast, they had a phenomenal cast to the fact that you didn't have to fabricate anything. As far as your heartfelt story, real struggles, you would have gotten that if he would have just pointed the camera and just let things happen naturally. But see, you're talking about Job, who's a whole different engine on her own. She's the type of girl that she don't even edit the fucking episodes, which is why it took 6 years for y'all to get season 2. She waits till the comments come out and she read the comments to see what everybody's talking about, and that's how she edit the shit. So if y'all want the mess, that's what she gonna edit it towards. If y'all like this bitch, she finna edit the next episode with all that bitch in there. That's how she do it. And I know she had a cast of gold from jump.
I think too, like as a cast member, even though you may be new to this, you still got to do your business. You got to do your due diligence. And I think most of these web series, especially the ones that are established, whether you're on your season 2 or you're finishing up your season 1, you are now considered to be established in some way. So for a new cast member, Google, bitch, go on YouTube and see if that represents what you're trying to put out there.
Bitch,
so as cast members,
they don't care about that.
I mean, I get it, but what
okay?
But if you see, but what's the limelight though? If like for G Status, for instance, I felt like the reason it was so fucked up, and even the come up as well, because they don't finish shit, and I think the problem is the cast members are not getting paid. The payment comes from being seen, your work scenes, what is it you can do. If you're an artist, if you're a fashion stylist or whatever, you need to be seen in the best light possible so that someone that's going to fucking order your services one day can be inspired by whatever they saw on the show, right? That's the whole point. So if you notice by watching this show, if you do your research on a G Status, you know that, girl, they're not going to highlight your work, girl. And they're not going to put you in the best of your business. So let me go ahead and go to another web series that may do that for me. It's all about doing your due diligence. Because when I get called for jobs and stuff like that, I Google. Back in the day when I was on the work trying to find a job and shit like that, I would Google these companies, girl. Make sure you're not fraudulent. Make sure you say what you say you are when I come and meet your ass, and then make sure I'm prepared to ask questions when I'm in that goddamn interview.
So that's where it's going to take a morality boost from the actual community, because like we can't be so desperate to accept any opportunity just because it's an opportunity better than the ones that we have, which is living out of the back seat of my rental that I stole from one city and drove into the next to start filming this fucking season with. Like, we can't continue to settle for that. Like, if you understand that this is where this is going, okay? If you understand that this is what they want from y'all, like, somebody has to be non-clout chasing enough to bow the fuck out.
Real personal.
I can't contribute.
So the thing is,
like you're talking about somebody
honestly,
I know.
I feel like, only speaking from experience from dealing with certain reality shows, you see what they can do for one person and you feel like that person can be you. So from last season, I'm only speaking of G Status, Charlie Exile actually really, really, got a nice following, flourished from G Status. So anybody going into that situation feel like, oh, I could be the next Charlie. I would just have to do certain things. I would have to manipulate certain situations, certain type of ways to get that type of result. So if you have one person who's successful on a cast, anybody would jump at the opportunity to say that, oh, that could be me, but not knowing that they're just going to be cannon fodder and be blown the fuck up and just look stupid like the rest of us.
Well, hopefully they're not jumping wearing platform shoes, because we know how that works out with the girls. Okay, child.
Well,
Carl, were you in that episode? I think I saw you in that episode.
And what episode?
At the skating
rink. He was one of the have-nots that
I was a have-not.
You were at the skate ring. I saw that long ass cigarette. I said, I know my sis from anywhere, bitch, with a cigarette.
Bitch. You already know.
Yes.
I get my smoke on.
Yes.
He's like, I see the haves and the have-nots, and they flash the scene of the have-nots.
She'll never say to my face. Every time she sees me,
Carl
let me talk to you.
Lando and Ike with the have-nots. I was not in that.
She know I knock all this shit off the table, bitch. Don't try me.
I'm sorry, y'all, but that you have to remove yourself from the read though, and like just look at it as a viewer. He was fucking hilarious, bitch.
She was ignorant. Everything came out that bitch's mouth was ignorant. Bitch, she's stupid. She's too old as shit.
Yo, when he came when the girls came to that pool party
he was laughing at her, not with her.
To Devon's event, honey, and Pepto Bismol walked in there, honey, and he was like, "Girl, when does cry, girl?"
But see, that's one of the leads that she's ever made that actually made sense. What kills me about Akeem is that she have a confessional that's 20 minutes long, and you ain't understand nothing of it she's saying. You just laughing because the bitch ain't making no fucking sense, and she been talking for 20 minutes. Girl. That's what's funny. And then with the Pepto Bismol read, like she'll get a good one in every 2 episodes.
That's the problem I got with that bitch. Now let me tell you this.
Oh Lord.
That girl talks a whole lot of shit in them confessionals, but when she in your face, she fake as fuck. She be sitting up there, she be just like, oh yeah, the girl.
Because he
I pop her
that girl is a mess, honey.
She grabbed me and Camilla at the party like
she real fake. She fake as fuck.
We like nah, bitch, because you had a lot to say in the fun confessional, girl. We should stomp your ass out right here.
And she's short as fuck, and she's skinny as shit, and she knows she get beat the fuck up. That's why she like,
child, don't go to jail for beating up the elderly, honey.
I don't like that.
Bitch, elderly should be popping shit, bitch. Anybody, these hands is bisexual, bitch. Anybody can catch these bitches.
When doves cry, girl.
Girl, that bitch is 50, honey, and she could get these 50 hands.
Child,
make another Beyonce video, bitch.
Yes. Driver, roll up the partition, please. You don't like to see Akeem on his knees.
Ah! Yes, bitch, bars.
So to end that portion, so ultimately, what are we saying? Do the web series have a positive or negative impact, or because I'm in the middle? We do need something for our community. I'm here for that, but I do believe that most of at least what I've seen does provide a lot of negative impact. Because I do, people love the mess and the drama. But it's not like they're actually there for our real stories. So that's just my little take on that.
My final thought: their reality shows, they're all negative. They're all of them. Gay, straight, pick a yellow. They all negative. They all bullshit. They all are damaging. So my thing: if you ain't built for it, or you can't handle this shit, just don't do this shit. If you think it's trash, don't watch it. But I like people
need to put people together who don't actually necessarily know each other, but have shared experiences, and they should just let it happen naturally.
Yeah, just let it
I feel like the natural product, and they should definitely look for people who are willing to talk about themselves versus other people, because I think that's the problem. They're willing to find people who are willing to degrade other people to make themselves look good versus actually talking about what hurts them and what bothers them and their own stories and stuff like that, because you see a lot of people who are willing to talk about other people versus talking about themselves. I think that should be a thing of people wanting to talk more about themselves than other people, and that will make better shows for us and all communities. So
I agree.
Amen.
Y'all can watch it.
And shout out to the We TV network for what they're doing over there with the T.S. Madison experience, because I can set the fucking precedence for anybody who's confused about what to do with 4K cameras.
Kat, any final thoughts?
No.
Period, Kat.
I'm exhausted when it comes to the reality shows. I'm just, because we talk about things and it's like they fall on deaf ears. So it's like, and we still gonna get the same shit, and we still gonna watch the same shit. So
we gonna start watching the same shit. They gonna do the same
thing. So we have a few more minutes left, and I think that it's important. I always think everything's fucking important. But we were having a discussion in one of our backstage meetings, and it kind of carried over the conversation piece about Angela Stanton. Tremel had some, thoughts, some additional thoughts from that conversation. Tremel, would you like to share your thoughts? And for those that didn't get a chance to watch that particular Yes God Roundtable, it is up on the channel. So Yes God.
So my particular thoughts are, I did have a come to Jesus moment as we speak about just how you should tell people how to handle their children. Now, one thing is I'm really not a person to tell people how to handle their children, because at the end of the day, I didn't raise nobody's child. And so what she was speaking on in the interview was more so the disrespect of her child coming at her. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really speak to, or I don't really think people should judge her based off of how she interacts with her child just versus other people. That was my whole thing. So moving forward, I do have a little bit of an open ear as far as what is respectful, as far as what is in your household versus what is expressed in, outside in the community or whatever the case may be. And it's just about like who you can run to and who you can actually confide in and who you can actually deal with on that type of particular level. So being disrespected by your child, I can never understand what that was like or what that would be like and what that would seem like to a parent. So I don't claim to know or even want to speak on something like that in a negative light, because whatever your reaction is your reaction, because I don't know what that should be. I'm not going to tell you what that should be, and that's my whole thing.
And I just thought one of the things that bred the title for this conversation was, who can we run to?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like JB's can't run to his mama for help. And who can we run to? Like, because it seems like even the people that we love sometimes, they're not in this. They're not invested in this. A lot of times they didn't even think about this until someone they knew came out the closet or, was obviously part of the community. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think when you try to open up and try to confide in people, there's that, you don't know what you're going to get from them. And I think a lot of times it forces people like us to like internalize our feelings a lot, and people wonder why we suffer from the easily aggressive nature, so easily prone to depression and sadness and different things like that. So
with JB, I feel like maybe she's coming from a space of I know how my mother feels about trans or people of trans experience altogether. So I'm going to have to combat you. I'm going to have to fight you. And then, of course, I feel like Angela's coming from a space of, you're my child, why are you disrespecting me? So I feel like that connection is just missed. And people are not seeing that because it's really, honestly, truthfully, nobody's business but them two. And it's just being aired all over the place for interpretation. So people have to pick sides. And, of course, you're going to pick the side of what most relates to you, and that's not just for us, that's for everybody in all communities, what I'm saying, in the heterosexual community, cisgender heterosexual communities, and also queer community.
But let me ask you this though, in that if it's really just between them, Angela Stanton makes it her business to bring it publicly, to bring the dynamic between her and her child publicly to the people, and then that hateful rhetoric spews off into public consumption. So I think it does give us an opportunity to speak on it because she made it public. Bitch, you're just mad because you didn't become the congresswoman you wanted to become.
JB's
But I heard that JB actually made it public, disrespecting her publicly, like disrespecting her mother publicly.
That's your child.
Of course, Angela is one of those people. From what I heard from the interview, and because I actually watched it, I was one of those people that watched it, and she was just like, "You disrespect me publicly, I'm gonna come at you publicly." She's really like a down to earth, regular.
That's a childlike mind frame, though. You're the mother. The children are gonna talk their shit, especially young adults.
If you had a child, would you let your child talk to you weird, like disrespectfully?
I'm gonna be honest.
Publicly, you could say what the fuck you want, but when I see your motherfucking ass and you're my child, I will see you. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of your ass.
In the house.
Privately, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Not publicly.
But they're both public figures, so we can't really say like if your child.
Are they?
Like you're a public figure, just like your child would be a public figure, and if your child publicly disrespect, like I feel like this even translates to like regular like interactions. Like if a friend disrespects you publicly, are you going to be quiet and
you can't?
But that's a friend.
I get that, Jamel, but I think in this sense, she wasn't responding to her son. She was responding to the community, and we did nothing to her.
Her daughter.
Whatever. we didn't do nothing to her. Like, so it's like you can't come at us for what your child did.
And you're on panels and you're on podiums in large spaces spewing this hateful rhetoric. So it's bled off from the household to the streets now. And it's wrecking our community because, like I said before, you end up planting seeds of doubt in some of the girls in the community who are already struggling with, damn, should I accept this part of my life or not?
But like
and
I
next
said,
thing you know, you
like I said,
turn them against us.
In the backstage, I said that your first experience of it, within it being in your home, in your actual necessarily your personal space, whatever your experience is your experience, and that's what molds you. So, like I said about, you know, my first ever, you know, dealing with homophobia was from my parents, right? Mm-hmm. So that puts me on guard on everybody around me who might be in that particular age group, who might even say anything. So I'm always constantly aware, and it manifests differently for me versus with her. So hers is more of a lashing out at the community, which I can see because this is the first time. I know she's had her moments, but like now it's her child. So now she is like karma or whatever the case may be. And now her child is actually, you know, disrespecting her in her home and whatever the case may be. And so she feels like this is something that's happening because of this transitioning that her daughter is doing. This is the cause, and the effect is she's disrespecting me, and she's not correlating it with, you know, a simple issue of respect. They're not respecting each other versus her thinking like, my daughter's disrespecting me because she's transitioning. That's what it is, because she's never disrespected me before. She's wanting to fight her sisters. She wanted to fight me because she's trying to compete with women. Now because she's trying to transition, and it's not because of anything else other than the fact of maybe JB just really honestly feels I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for respect in this situation. They're not having that conversation. So I can understand where Angela is blind to the fact of what the real problem or the real issue is.
I'm going to tell you why I cannot accept her not understanding, because you have the phenomenon in the form of your daughter telling you what the fuck is up and educating and informing you and telling you what she needs from you. And so you don't get to continue to scoot away and say, I don't know. It's just like being in any other relationship. If you tell your man what you need, what you want, how you are experiencing him, he no longer can say he does not know. He can no longer say, I don't understand. Now that y'all have had the conversation, now that you've made him aware, and so now it's just a matter of either you're going to understand or you're going to insist upon just acting the way that you've been acting. And Angela Staten,
but we all know within any, it is not even a issue of sex or gender or anything like that. We all know that on a basic human level, if somebody tells you that they don't like something that you do, that you're comfortable with doing, that you're comfortable with, period, it's going to be a problem. Because now you're telling them that they have to change something about themselves to appease you. And what they're not going to do is they're not going to just go lightly with that. Because you have to explain it to them further and over and over and over.
Well, that appears to be
what... And it has to be something that is...
But she keeps raising the bar. It went from her just having a dispute with her daughter to... I don't have to identify you as how you identify. If I see a man, that's what I'm going to say. And it's just like, where did we take this turn? This is between you and your child. So, again, why are you now lashing out at the entire community behind something you don't understand?
I didn't say it manifested right. I just said it manifests. Now, listen, that's what I'm saying. It is what it is. But I respect people for where they are, and I know that she's not somebody that's willing to be turned. She's not in that place. She's not in that mindset, and she's not one of the people that you should actually talk to. But I can understand how she got there, because it's a human nature. It's human nature to actually resist against things that you do not want to change. Because you don't think it's there.
When it's your child, I think you should have a little bit more understanding. I don't think her mindset should be, well, you disrespected me, so I'm going to embarrass you. Like, that's your child. Like, it's not a tit for tat nigga on the street. This is your kid.
You know, black people need to get therapy, child, because that sounds like a therapy.
That's why black kids need to go back to getting their ass worked. Belt and ass. It needs to go back to that.
Angela Staten hates Angela Stanton is at war with herself and her daughter. It's clear to us who her daughter got all of her behavior from. It's clear who her daughter learned how to cuss and fuss and disrespect from. The issue with Angela is that Angela is a Black woman who identifies strongly with respectability politics. What you are upset at is now the disrespect that has been concealed in your parenting has now come totally to surface. And now you got to stand in your shit and you're embarrassed and trying to defend yourself. And this isn't even no longer about your situation with your daughter. And I don't understand what this confusion is about what respect is, because when I was growing up, my mom and my pops was always like, if they saw somebody weird in the space, they always make sure, y'all motherfuckers show respect. Show respect. I don't give a fuck what they look like. I don't give a fuck what they talk like. You better be respectful. And so this idea that if I personally don't believe that a trans person is actually trans has some impact on my ability to respect someone as they tell me they show up is a conflation of two issues. I can respect you and call you ma'am, and my personal politic and belief is that you're still a sir. Those things don't run together. I can be nice and kind to white people and not want to know white people personally, not want to have white people in my space personally. Like, that's what respect actually is. It's the compromise so that we can have an orderly society, because we have to share these spaces together. And so the fact that people think that I'm giving up my personal belief by actually addressing you as sir or trans is just absolutely ridiculous and ignorant as all hell. You're not giving up your personal belief. You're just saying that I've been raised right and I'm mature enough.
But she knows what respect is, because she can sit on the same panel and call Shauna Brooks a woman. She knows what respect is. She never called Shauna Brooks a man. The whole time she was talking.
She talked all that shit and then shot in Shauna Brooks' face and totally called her, as Kat said, by her gender pronoun.
But she also said that if anybody disrespects me, I'm going to disrespect you. So I'm going to say this to you. Have you ever in your life called your mother a hoe or a bitch?
I have.
You have. And what happened in those moments?
She told me I was a faggot and going to hell.
Exactly. So what makes Angela Stanton different from your mother at this moment?
My issue with
it become public.
My issue with Angela is what you're saying.
My issue with Angela Stanton is that I had a mother like Angela Stanton.
Right.
So I'm totally able to identify with the ignorance thereof. There are certain things that are not up for. There are not certain things that are not up for debate, and my humanity is not that. You can say you don't like that I'm gay. I can say, Tremel, I don't like that hat that you have on. You can take it. I can't take my queerness off. And that's the issue with people running this shit together. You're asking people to deny themselves their humanity at the expense of your privilege. And we're not going to treat sexuality or ethnicity or gender like we would treat me disliking your hat. My sexuality is not interchangeable. I can't train my truth up and walk away from it. And if I do you know what also? Because see, you can't appease straight people, Tremel. If I was willing to dispose of my truth the way that you can dispose of that hat, what that looks like is me then choosing a woman as a beard, having children, and dragging someone else into my shit because I'm trying to appeal and appease to the damn status quo. And then when I'm outed because I can't resist ultimately what is inevitable, do you know who are the first people to have something to say and to witch hunt against me? The same motherfuckers who taught me to not stand in my damn truth. So fuck cis hetero privilege. I don't give a fuck about the way they feel.
It's all about what they're comfortable with. They're not comfortable with it.
I'm gonna just say this last piece. Just like we're keeping our fucking foot on white privilege, I'm not taking my foot off of cisgendered privilege. Unlearn the shit. Period. Unlearn it. I ain't empathizing with shit.
And what I say is
because people losing their fucking lives at the expense of this fucking privilege. People taking their lives at the expense of this privilege. People are altering their lives in dramatic ways and altering other people's lives as a result. So I'm not taking my foot off them hoes' necks. Unlearn your fucking privilege.
So can I say something?
Yeah, now.
Ooh. So what I'm gonna say is, my motherfucking thing, bitch. So like what Kat said earlier, what you're not gonna do is put your wants and needs and what you're firm in, which is respectable. It is all respectable, and put it above somebody else whose mind you're not gonna change. Can't nobody change your mind about what you believe in, just as well as you can't change anybody's mind about something else. And so you have to find the spaces that you're comfortable in, so you don't have to compromise shit for any fucking body. But you need to understand is that what you're not willing to compromise, other people are not willing to compromise either, and you can't change nobody else's mind, and it's not your responsibility.
But one is
your privilege to change.
But one is right and one is wrong. That's the difference, Tremaine.
But even if we take right and wrong out of it, straight people expect us to respect that they don't want to accept
family. You have to leave them where the fuck they are, and you have to be okay with that. And you can't make it seem like it's a villainous thing because you can't change somebody else's mind.
It is a villainous
thing. But wait, that's a problem though. That's a major problem.
Somebody be like, bitch, I don't fuck with your beliefs, but your beliefs is your beliefs.
But that's a major problem simply because the straight people want us to respect that they don't want to conform, but they don't want to respect us.
We don't have to. We don't have to respect shit about them, and they don't have to respect shit about us. We want that, and they want it, and we want that. We want them to respect us just like we respect them, right? You don't have to respect them at all. You choose to give them that power over you. I would never give somebody power over me. You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to disrespect my culture. You're not going to disrespect my community and my face. I'm not going to take that from anyone. And that's their right as well. And if you're willing to fight about it, bitch, we can fight about it. And that's the only thing that you have to be willing to do. You have to stand firm in what you believe, because people are going to be willing to stand firm in what they believe.
Thank God that we did fight.
Not willing to back down. Shit.
Thank God that we did fight, because we wouldn't be where we are today.
Hello? Let me say this real quick, and I want to put this on a divine level. And because I live in the world of the bigger picture that a lot of people don't seem to get. Okay. And this is going to close this out because I have to go, child. Okay.
I love you, Conscious.
We need to understand that God puts people in your life for a reason. And what if the reason, okay, you grow up, because I have friends who grew up learning homosexuality is all of the negative things that we've all heard about, right? It doesn't touch them until someone in their family is part of the queer life, right? And I asked those people, well, the God that you so-called served, that you believe this is such an abomination, all the things that you were taught about, the gay experience and the LGBT community, things that we're all going to hell, right? Why would your God curse you with that in your life? But see, the God I serve does things for a reason, to manipulate the fabric of your being, to stir up the old shit, to bring in a new era for your motherfucking ass. So what if this person, trans daughter, was introduced into Angela Stanton to learn from, to change her ways, but because of the ego, because of the pride, because of all the deadly sins that this bitch serves, she doesn't see that picture. So she's going to be missing out on the reward. She's going to be missing out on what God truly has for her because she's unyielding. She does not want to change her behavior. But what if the main reason for JB's existence in her life is to change her behavior? Because you can't call on God and you're not accepting everyone. You can't call on God and love God, but you love only certain types of people. So that's just my stance on that. That to me is on a greater divine level. People are putting your life to learn. See, if it wasn't for me opening up my heart to children who were in the ESC classes, child, and things of that nature, I would have probably been in part of those social groups that were picking on them. That's fucked up.
Right.
If you don't have someone in your family that suffers from some type of ailment, you'll never understand that. like people with autistic children and things like that. You don't know what that plight is like if you've never experienced it yourself. So God does things to humble your ass and to teach you some new things. But if you're rooted in your being and you're not willing to change, that's you missing out on what God had for you.
Everything that you just said would go over that GED intellectual known as Angela Statton's head for fucking sure, because she is dumber than a box of damn rocks. She's not interested in learning, as Tremel stated, and that was exactly why I did my commentary about why in the hell was Chasing Chat even interviewing her to begin with. Like, she's an explicit homophobe. She's an explicit transphobe. So we're just going to listen to her be redundant and rhetorical and just say the same shit all over again, because she's not listening to comprehend. She's listening to respond. Okay. And every time that they would shut the hell up, there she was challenging and trying to convince us of why we should be okay with her being homophobic. And the issue with privilege and why privileged people have to be challenged and why privilege has to be dismantled is because privilege just doesn't act as rhetoric. It has a currency. That currency turns into the hate crimes, the statistics that we see that double and triple as administrations like the Trump administration
rallies.
It heightened hate crimes against queer people. These things just don't stay as belief systems. If that were, we would not be fighting as people. We're fighting against this because our lives are at stake every time a privileged person wants to weaponize their belief and weaponize their right and weaponize their favor and weaponize their status quo to spew the bullshit that they do. And as a queer person, I don't fucking appreciate it, because all that shit that the black church did and all that shit and how Christianity was weaponized was enough to drive me to suicide as a teenage, as a teenage same gender loving fucking man. And so we all sitting here are privileged because somehow we survived the complexities of the hate against us. That's not the case for many queer people. And so
hold on, let me clear that up real quick. ED represents past tense, surviving. Currently, we are still surviving this thing called life. Amen.
I survived, goddammit. I'm free. They can have it. I'm kicking ass and taking aim.
But we're forever going to continue going through adversity.
Get these hands, they can get these bullets, they can get these triggers. I'm done with the motherfucking fight. I have survived. My feet are motherfucking up. You come for this piece, bitch, you're dying in the process of extrapolating this piece from me.
Yes,
this conversation, we have to stand on passion, because there are queer people who are not strong like us. They're fragile. They don't know how to navigate this. They don't have the resources available. And so when we go to speak about this, we at least me, I have to speak from a place of passion and conviction, because I understand that even me making it out is a privilege that so many behind me will not be fucking afforded. And I care about their fucking experience. They're stuck with the Angela Stattons as moms. They're stuck with the Eddie Longs as fathers. Eddie Long, hands down, was responsible for more than 80% of Georgians kicking out their LGBT youth to the fucking streets. 14 and 15-year-olds driven to live in underpasses and bridges and shelters and to sell their fucking bodies in order to...
Meanwhile, you're playing in little boys' booty holes on flights to Africa.
And that's always the gag. That's always the gag. Just like Angela Statton.
What I was saying was definitely that. I'm just saying, so when you know that somebody is not yielding to learning anything about you, don't give them the platform on your platform. So with Chasing Chat, they should have never had her on, because what was the purpose of that serving? To give this lady a voice on a platform that only your community will see. You know what I'm saying? So that only further damaged the children who are coming up, like Conscious was saying. I'm saying don't give platforms to people who are not going to make us stronger. You know what I'm saying? We have to rebuild our own platforms. We have to, if you don't see the type of people that you need to see, you have to create them, if that makes sense. You have to see people who are strong. You have to see LGBTQ people, plus people who are willing to do these things.
We need to give the humanity a little more credit. Like, we're all very perceptive. I think on almost every level, no matter the age, no matter the experiences you've been through, I think that's something innate in the human experience, is that we have good perception. So you should be able to tell who is going to be right for you and who's not. Because, bitch, within 5 seconds of me meeting certain people, bitch,
I know you're not for me.
I
And
know
there's
who
nothing
you
wrong
are.
with that. I don't have to talk to you no more. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, bitch, what am I talking to you for? You is not going to help me grow. You is not going to build my platform. You is not going to move me into it. You're not going to elevate the community that I am a part of. So why am I talking to you?
But that speaks to a deeper issue, because setting aside sexuality and gender with Miss Angela Staton, we live in a society that puts a lot of substance about this being your blood and your family. We're conditioned to believe that somehow we need the love and acceptance of people we're related to obtain some sense of wholeness. This is deeply embedded within our psyche. So even when people are being fucked up towards us, who we share blood with, there's still this ingrained program, this operating system that's reverberating and vibrating within us, telling us to go after them anyway. Appeal. And the logical thing to do is to remove that rhetoric, to remove those belief systems, and to say, look, at the end of the day, family is you choose your family. You don't choose your relatives. I can't control who I'm related to by blood, flesh and blood. I do get to construct my family, which is in the form of my friends, my man, my whom the fuck ever. And so, but we do have a bigger issue of this allegiance to fucking family. Even family is a social fucking construct that needs to come down as well, because a lot of people are trapped in narcissistic abuse. A lot of people are trapped in toxic ass relationships due to it's your mom, it's your dad, it's your whomever. And like Tremel says, fuck them. Anybody who don't serve your
absolutely fuck them.
Accept her own child as a person to, you know, bring her into the community and have her some level of understanding. She is lost, and she is not somebody that you should give a platform to. I was saying that only to recognize, like, I see where she's going to use this as an opportunity to tear people of the community down. So she should never be given a platform on any.
Well, Chasing Chat wanted a click and a motherfucking view.
Right. So that's what they wanted to do. So they got it, and they got exactly what they wanted. So what we're not going to sit up there and
they didn't even get that many.
The type of person that she is and try to change her mind. Like, she's not somebody who can be changed. If her own child can't change her, who are we? That's all I'm saying. It's like, who are we to change somebody's mind who's already been made up? Her cup is full. Her cup is full, is running over. You can't add nothing to a cup that's full.
Final thoughts?
We should get JB on the show.
Who?
I think
that would be cute.
Oh, JB.
I would love to talk to her.
We should just work on opening dialogue between, you know, parents and children, you know, and I think parents should open their minds just to be more understanding. We are not who you wanted us to be. That's not what God gave us to you. So you can mold us into the creatures that you saw fit for us to be. Let us be who we are going to be, and just deal with the cards as they fall. I don't think you should disown your child because they didn't turn out the way you wanted them to turn out.
But for some people, I feel like I understand now that it's, even dealing with my parents, it was like, it's hard to let go of the future that you have planned for your child, because you don't know what it's like to be a parent and to have a little bit of disappointment in what your child turned out to be like. I can get it, even though it's wrong to treat your child at
I don't, because it's like, why are you even
I don't know what it's like to be a parent and have a child not turn out the way I wanted them to.
I know what it's like to be a child and not have a parent turn out the way that I wanted them to be.
Hey man,
I don't need.
I didn't ask to be born to y'all. I did not ask to be born to y'all, and the way that the shit turned out was not the way I expected. But I also believe, like, unless I'm out here being a fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, nothing I do should be a disappointment to you.
Period.
Even if it's different, even if it's different and something that's foreign to you, it shouldn't be a disappointment.
What I'm saying?
Absolutely,
you gotta work with what you got. And what I will say is that Nobody.
We're not.
I don't
Like
know
you
y'all got
said.
no kids. I don't think none of y'all got no children, so you don't know what it's like to be.
I had parents.
We don't, but what you said,
I wanted them to be.
You are
we don't have to
only,
respect
you are
that.
speaking from only your side of the spectrum.
So are you, Tramel. We are clear about that. We are here sharing our side, okay? We don't need to be.
But what you said, Tramel, held some weight.
We were children of parents who we were disappointed in.
But what Tramel said held some weight. We don't have to respect their opinion of us.
So the disappointment that you have in your parents, the disappointment you have in your parents, they have the same disappointment in you. So know what that feels like and know
one is right and one is wrong. You know what the issue with your politics, Tramel, is that you have more interest in equality than you do principle. I don't give a fuck about being so fair for straight people that it permits them to be abusive. Hold on, that it permits them to be that it permits them to be abusive mentally, that it permits them to be abusive spiritually, that it permits them to be abusive physically. What they do got a right to do is stand on fucking principle. One is right, and one is just simply wrong. Okay? As a parent, I don't give a fuck that you're a parent. You don't have a fucking right, okay, to drive your fucking child to not want to be here anymore because you so fucking narcissistic and don't want to put your foot up off the gas and leave some room for your child to have the same opportunity to go to jail like you, Miss Staten, to suck on women's prison pussy like you, Miss Staten, to align with Apollo and Phaedra like you, because I find it hypocritical that this bitch don't win and suck all the dicks she want to suck. She done committed all the crimes she want to fucking commit. She done did everything she want to do in the motherfucking life, and then you want to have all this fucking morality and clap back and all this fucking ethics when it comes to your fucking
but maybe they want better for their children.
The thing can go down a fucking drain, dog.
Maybe they want.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to what Terrell said. We don't have to respect their opinion, and they don't have to respect ours. Period. End of the day. Period.
At the end of the day, your parents don't have to respect your opinion. You don't have to respect theirs. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they have one.
Girl, so now we
should understand, and I don't think we should have to understand where they're coming from. I don't think we should have to give them that. I don't think so. If they're not giving it to us, we don't have to give it to them.
But see, that's the problem.
And one is right
that's
and one
the
is
fucking
wrong.
problem with people. I don't have to give you no respect, but at the end of the day, you actually want their respect. That's what's so sad to me. If you don't expect, then we wouldn't be having these conversations at all. These would not be conversations at all to be had, because if you don't respect your parents or what the fuck they got going on for you or the feelings that they have for you, you wouldn't even talk about them. Like, bitch, I don't give a fuck what you do.
No. I don't have that. My parents are great with me being gay. I don't have that problem.
It is completely okay for a child to care about a lack of relationship to their parent. That's actually natural.
But that's not my walk. My parents love the fact that I'm gay and fabulous, so that's not my journey. But
I'm gonna tell you this as a parent who did, as a child whose parents did not like it. You cannot tell me anything. I'm sorry.
You told me. I'm just repeating what you said.
You're arguing with me about.
I'm repeating what you said, bro. You said that I didn't have to respect them.
Like what you saying? You saying I should not respect my parents, but your parents.
No. You said that. I didn't say that. I repeated what you said.
But I'm telling you that I'm opening up to my parents, and you're telling me that I shouldn't. You can't tell me that because you've not experienced what I've experienced.
No, I said you don't have to. I didn't say you shouldn't. I said you don't have to.
I deal with both, because I had my dad that was very accepting, my mom that wasn't accepting. And at the end of the day, I can't make you do what you want to do. She ain't like it. She had a lot to say. I didn't really care. My dad accepted me, so that's where I went. Like, I just go to whoever
you go where you accepted.
I'm not going to argue with nobody. I'm not here to change your mind. That's not my ministry.
Amen.
You can think whatever you want to think in your own little bubble, sir or ma'am. That has nothing to do with me.
And these are my final words on the issue. When me and my grandma had to have the conversation, my grandma was the perfect example of she's the perfect model citizen for what every motherfucker who called himself grown need to handle a situation. She said, Davy. That's what the people who love me call me, so don't you use it.
I'm gonna call you Davy.
Don't you dare. She said, Davy, you know, she said, I know what the Bible says, because that's what informs her about how to move through this life. She says, I know what the Bible says, but she says at the end of the day, you're my grandson. I love you, and I support your happiness as your grandmother.
Right.
And
That's how
from
it should
there, that was it.
That's how it should be.
Both of my grandmothers, when I had the issue with my mother and my father, both of their mothers told me something very similar. So it was nice to have that in that place of turmoil that I had going on. So that let me know that I have a place to go, that I don't have to change anybody's mind. And if they decide to come around, they can. If not, I don't have to have that conversation with them. I'm not here to change nobody's mind about anything who's not willing to learn. It'll happen when it's willing to happen. And at the end of the day, I'm good. At the end of the day, I have to find places where I'm comfortable. I have to have places where I'm good, just like we all do. And if you're not comfortable in a place, you do not have to go there. If you're not wanting to have this conversation with somebody, you do not have to have it. You do not have to change anybody's mind on this earth, because if you're not willing to change your mind for somebody, why do you think somebody else is willing to change their mind for you?
True.
All I'm saying.
And I would hope that your grandmother set an example for your parents.
They did. They're both gone now, and they have instilled in their children, who are my mother and my father, that y'all can't be doing that to Tramel, because Tramel is the shit. And both my parents love me, and they both apologized to me, and it just took them some time, and they both apologized to me for what they said, and I'm grateful for it, and I will never actually take back the experience, because I learned a lot from it. And at the end of the day, it's like, moving forward, I know what it looks like, and I know that you can't change somebody's mind. They have to be willing to do the work on their own.
And I get what you're coming from, Tramel, because a lot of times these people are only acting on what they've been taught and what has been embedded in their brains. Absolutely. So they're trying to be open-minded and understand, but it's like, if I'm 50 years old and all I know is that I don't like gay people, and my child is gay, I don't know how to react to that. I mean, I get it.
But they don't even be like, they don't like gay people. They just don't want no gay child. That's the thing. Like, they be cool with gay people until it's in their house. So I know what that looks like, because my mom, the first thing my mom said to me, and it really kind of hurt my feelings, was like, she used to have fun with the gay guy that worked at her job and stuff like that. And then when she found out I was gay, she was like, oh my God, I can't have that in my house. Because he had a gay friend, but she ain't doing it in the house. You know what I'm saying?
You doing that gay shit in the house, bitch?
Yeah, bring that gay shit in the house, baby. It's hurtful, and it don't hit you. It don't hit you a certain type of way until you have to deal with it.
Yeah, like when you have to realize that,
and you make fun of them, and when you make fun of the gay person at your job, but then when it's your son, it's just like, damn, I be talking about gay people, I be making fun of them, and now it's my child. So what am I?
Most straight people are homophobic as hell, and they just don't realize it till they have a until it is close to home, unfortunately. Right. Because they get to control their proximity to homosexuality in every other compartment. As a friend, as your stylist, as the makeup artist, I get to control my proximity. Now I can avoid that proximity because it's in the form of my daughter or my son, and then that's when the reality comes out. But I'm gonna tell you what I told my grandma. I told her, I'm glad that you are accepting, because I damn sure came into this bitch prepared to give your ass up if you was anything less, because baby, you wasn't gonna be the end all to my happiness. So I
will do it in a minute.
But not for okay for your parents.
Baby, I will cut family off in a hot ass minute.
Period. You can't be like that. If you willing to give up everything and say, I'm gonna say to hell with you. If you don't accept my lifestyle, if they don't accept your lifestyle, they can't kick you out. You gotta be. You can't. You have to be the change that you want to see. So you can't be willing to give up on your parents if you really want to have that acceptance from them, if you really want it.
But I think I think in situations you kind of know whether or not you'll
if you really want that acceptance, you can't be willing to say, fuck y'all, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to live my life. Because if they say, well, I don't want your gay ass in my house, and they kick you out, what you going to do? Why did they do that to me? But you was already willing to say, fuck y'all, I don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna suck to get the rent paid.
It can't be the. It can't. Be, you have.
Okay. All right, we're gonna have to, end it real quick.
Okay, wrap it up because y'all are going.
I'm sorry.
The war room. 2 hours. Yes. Well, that's a good. That's the reason for the space. This is the reason for the space, so we can have these types of conversations. So, again, everybody out there, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and invite more people to come through so they can enjoy the conversation as well.
And this way y'all gonna get raw, raw conversation, raw thought. Y'all gonna get the real. We ain't coming up in here acting pretty with each other. We gonna give y'all what's behind it.
Tell me why Conscious thought I was gonna be the quiet one and I said
no.
It was
That's why be.
Come on, y'all. This is ready to go. They're ready to go.
About them.
Yeah, bitch. I'm tired.
thought that G said shit was real.
I told YB, I said he came on here kind of quiet, but I can tell that Tremel is the kind of person when he warms up, that's when, like, just give him time. He comes out.
Okay, that bitch ain't quiet. That bitch is not quiet.
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I appreciate it.
But this was riveting and this was enjoyable.
Yes.
I love y'all. I really do. I love all y'all. And I respect everybody's opinion. You know, at the end of the day, I want everybody to know that I respect everybody's opinion. I listen to everybody. So
you're still my favorite status, girl. You're still my
thank you, Conscious. I love you too. You was my favorite interview.
Yes. I love y'all too. As tradition, I'm gonna end this with a quote. It is from one of my favorite TV shows, child. Well, not currently because they're on some bullshit. Shonda Rhimes, get your shit together, girl.
Bridgerton?
No, it's from Grey's Anatomy.
Boo.
Grey's Anatomy. And it's from actually Meredith Grey. And the quote is called Decide. So do it. Decide. Is this the life you want to live? Is this the person you want to love? Is this the best you can be? Can you be stronger, kinder, more compassionate? Decide. Breathe in, breathe out, and decide.
Amen.
Okay. I'm with
now let's decide to end this damn broadcast.
Hello.
Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. This is a good conversation, and that's all you're going to get from the Yes God Roundtable. Amen. It's nothing but great conversation.
Amen.
Nothing is off limits.
Hello.
At all.
Guys, be blessed and never stressed. Have a great night. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. See y'all next Sunday.